Let me give you the blueprint for the fastest and simplest way to bulk up, gain weight, and build serious muscle mass. Listen, I went from skinny gamer degenerate to a jacked enlightened lifter. I'm going to tell you exactly what it takes and cut out all the extra fluff that you don't need to hear. So the first thing you need is a solid muscle building routine. Push-pull legs, full body, or upper lower. If you don't have one right now and you want one quick and easy, go to the link in the description. I have a free routine. It'll be in your inbox within 5 minutes. But here's the thing. A lot of people, they get their routine, but they don't go. Starting the gym is all about getting your membership, having your routine, and then showing up. You don't need to know, exactly how to do every single variation and every single accessory movement. You don't need to have all of the lifting gear. In fact, you don't need any lifting gear ever. And you don't need to have a cocktail of supplements. Listen, there's always one more thing that you can potentially figure out. There's always one more exercise where you can learn how to do it more perfectly. There's always one more supplement that you could buy. You don't want these things. You don't want this extra fluff to stop you from just going to the gym and starting. A lot of people get stuck up in this and they don't end up getting anywhere. If you want to be serious about lifting, you gotta put aside the fluff and just show up. Just show up and do the hard work. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes. The common mistakes, what people think they're doing wrong, what they're actually doing wrong, and what they should be focusing on. So the big one is people don't know what to eat. It's not really about your diet selection. It's not really about what you are eating. Your selection doesn't matter nearly as much as how much you're eating, the quantity of how much food you're putting away. A lot of guys think it's variety, they're eating too much carbs, or they need a vast selection of food. You don't need a vast selection of food. You need a couple of hearty meals that you can consistently eat. As long as you're not fucking retarded and eating like French fries, as long as your food has some source of protein like rice and chicken. I'm sure most of you understand that. It's a very basic concept. It's not the food that's actually preventing you from growing. It's the amount of food that you're not eating that's preventing you from growing. I have a lot of resources on how to eat more food, how to increase your appetite, and the kinds of foods that will be easier to eat. So if you're still unsure, please go and check those out. But yeah, bottom line is it's not your variety, it's not your selection. It's not because you're not eating lean meat, it's because you just don't know how to eat enough. It's not your routine or your exercise selection, it's your effort and your inability to stay consistent. Listen, you don't need much to get jacked. You don't need many different exercises. You don't need, the perfect routine. You don't need any of that at all. What you do need is consistency and training to muscular failure. Most people are incapable of doing these two things. When it comes down to it, it's all about how well you can stay consistent and not miss a single day, and how close you can train to that red line, that true muscular failure point. That's what's going to drive growth, not the perfect optimal variation, the perfect optimal routine. It's not the routine's fault, it's your fault. More is not better, or a better way to say this is less is more. So a lot of people think that getting jacked, lifting, it's all about showing up every day, showing up 6 days a week and just going ham. The more, the better. You can't grow if you show up every day. If you're showing up 6 days a week, it doesn't make any sense. First of all, you have to rest in order to grow. You don't actually grow because you went to the gym and broke down your muscles. You grow because your body recovers from that stimulus and it grows your muscles as bigger and stronger. I hope you understand that. I hope that makes sense. If not, please drop a question in the comments below and let me know. Second, like I said before in the last point, you have to train very close to that red line. You have to train very close to muscular failure. A lot of people debate this. I don't know why, but regardless, the point I'm making now is you cannot be doing this when you're showing up 6 days a week. I'm telling you, you're just not capable of it mentally. You're just not capable of it physically. Even if you're training different body parts, even if you're rotating that, you're alternating, your push-pull legs or whatever else it is. Your nervous system cannot handle that kind of effort. And on top of that, mentally, you're going to burn out. You can't do that every single day. I understand that for some people, it's probably the time they make the most amount of gains, but the reason for that, the only time that they actually were consistent. You need to rest in order to actually maximize growth. If you're truly serious about bulking, gaining mass, building muscle, and you're a natural lifter, you're not on steroids, you should not be going to the gym more than 5 days a week. You need to rest and you need to recover if you want to make the big gain. You gotta train hard and you gotta rest hard, just like Tom Platt says. The last tip I'll give you is Something I noticed with a lot of people is they try to do gym as like, a passive thing, or they try to do have lifting as like, something in passing that they do once in a while. I go to the gym a couple times a week. It's kind of fun. I like to do this lift and this lift, whatever. But when I look at them, I know that they're not taking the gym seriously. That's up to you, how you take the gym, how you interpret the gym. But if you're serious about, building a body, building muscle mass, gaining weight, you have to understand that, this takes a very focused and concentrated effort. Like, you need to turn on mission mode. Like, you have to put the mission above everything else, including, your personal comforts and desires. How serious you take this is what you're going to get out of it. There's going to be days where you're not feeling well. There's going to be days where you're feeling tired. You're feeling sore. Are you still going to show up and train really hard on those days? Or are you going to find the most convenient excuse to skip the gym and stay at home? If you want to make serious gains, you need to turn on mission mode, and you need to make the gym a serious part of your life. You cannot passively get jacked. It doesn't really happen like that. It's a hard truth, but people need to understand this, that bulking up, building muscle mass, gaining weight, it's a big physical commitment. It's a big mental commitment. It takes a very concentrated effort. And so it's very possible to do, but it's also something that you need to take very seriously. It's not something that you can have it take a backseat to like 7 other different things, like your relationship, your social image, all these other things. Who cares? It's got to be, up there, number 1, number 2 priority in your life. That's how you actually make the big gains and see the results you want to see. If you want further guidance on how to do that, feel free to go check out my coaching in the link below. I can guide you from point A to point B, get you the exact results that you desire. If not, check out my free starter kit. It has routines, diet plans, and training cues. Join my Discord. There's lots of discussions on motivation, lifting, and all kinds of other things. Like the video if you did. Subscribe for more content just like this. I hope you guys liked the video. I hope I gave you some clarity, and I'll see you in the next one.